Identifying and Classifying Information and Assets. Welcome to this module on identifying and classifying information and assets. Every organization has valuable data and physical assets that need protection. But before we can secure them, we must first identify what they are and classify them based on their sensitivity and importance. In this lesson, we will discuss data classification, asset classification, and why these steps are essential for a strong security framework. Let's get started. Information and assets are not all equal. Some data is more sensitive than others, and some assets are more critical to business operations. Classification helps organizations determine how data and assets should be protected. Organizations classify their resources into two categories: data classification and asset classification. Let's talk about what they mean. Data classification, the process of categorizing information based on sensitivity, value, and regulatory requirements. Asset classification, the process of identifying and categorizing physical and digital assets based on their importance to the business. Now let's look at an example. A company stores customer credit card data and public marketing materials. The credit card data is highly sensitive and must be encrypted and protected under PCI DSS compliance, while the marketing materials can be shared publicly. This is an example of data classification based on sensitivity. Here are the best practices for identifying and classifying information and assets. Use standardized classification labels: public, confidential, secret, top secret. Implement automated classification tools for large data sets. Apply access controls based on classification levels. Regularly review and update classifications as business needs change. Data classification ensures that sensitive information is properly protected. Different organizations use different classification schemes, but here are the most common levels. Most organizations classify data into 4 levels. Let's go over them. Public data, information that can be shared freely, such as company websites and press releases. Internal use only, data restricted to employees but not considered highly sensitive, e.g. internal memos, HR policies. Confidential data, sensitive business information such as financial records, trade secrets, and customer information. Restricted or top secret data, highly sensitive information that requires strict access controls such as government intelligence or classified research. Here's an example. A hospital classifies patient records as confidential, allowing only authorized medical staff to access them, while its public health awareness materials are classified as public and shared online. Here's how to ensure effective data classification. Clearly define classification levels and train employees on them. Implement automated tagging to classify data in real time. Apply stronger encryption and access controls to higher classification levels. Beyond data, organizations must also classify their physical and digital assets. This helps prioritize security measures and resource allocation. Organizations categorize assets based on their importance. Let's discuss them. Critical assets essential for business operations such as databases, servers, and network infrastructure. Important assets, valuable but not business critical, such as workstations, mobile devices, and customer service tools. Non-critical assets, assets with minimal impact on business operations, such as marketing materials or office supplies. Now here's an example. A company's cloud servers hosting customer accounts are classified as critical assets, while its employee break room televisions are classified as non-critical assets since they do not impact business operations. Here's how to effectively classify assets for security management. Identify which assets are critical to operations and prioritize their security. Implement asset inventory management to track hardware, software, and digital assets. Use stronger protection methods, e.g. encryption, redundancy, for critical assets. Now let's summarize what we've learned about identifying and classifying information and assets. Data classification ensures sensitive information is properly protected. Common classification levels include public, internal use, confidential, and restricted. Asset classification helps organizations prioritize security for critical business resources. Using standardized classification methods improves security and compliance. By implementing strong classification practices, organizations can better manage risk, enforce access controls, and comply with regulatory requirements. This concludes our module on identifying and classifying information and assets. Up next, establishing information and asset handling requirements. Stay secure.